So today I am sharing with you my 5 biggest mistakes that I made during my personal development journey so that you don't have to make them, or if you are making these mistakes already, that you can identify them and fix them. The first mistake that I really made for a long time was to not do the exercises properly. So there are many content creators who create such a valuable content about personal development, finding yourself, authenticity, self-love, self-care, and all of these wonderful things. And most of the time when I read these exercises, I just did them in my mind, and it's not the same effect when you read the question. For example, what do you want to be remembered for? Like in my post a few days ago, and you are just answering this question in your head rather than writing it down in your journal, it makes a difference. I promise you it does, because when you write it down, you automatically sit down, you take the time to really think about the question, really dig deep and shed your layers. And it is when you shed your layers that you're gonna uncover the things that lie beneath the surface. And this is exactly the point that you want to reach when you are on a personal development journey. You want to go and see what is underneath the surface and discover things about yourself. And you can discover things about yourself if you only answer a question that is asked to you by the most obvious answer that you have in your mind. So doing the exercises, really journaling, taking the time to really think about it and really fill out the worksheets, this was the moment where my personal development journey actually started. Everything I did before was just collecting informations, getting inspired, but the action part after that was missing. The second big mistake I did was banning negative thoughts. I already reached almost this point where I was ashamed of having bad thoughts, of being pissed or annoyed if something happened. Personal development is about finding out about yourself. It is about knowing who you are and knowing all the wonderful things that you're capable of, all your resources, and how amazing you are as a human being. But it is also about knowing the entire shit. Let's call it what it is, So you need to know your shit. You need to know the bad things about yourself. You need to know your flaws. You need to know what you want to work on. And it is by seeing the big picture, really seeing everything, that you are going to be able to deal with it all and move forward. You're not going to be a 100% positive, flawless, perfect human. But if you deal with this dark side of yours, if you deal with your issues, your problem, your fears, your doubts, this is where you really start growing and moving forward. So that was my second mistake, putting all these negative and bad thoughts aside. The third mistake is a little bit connected to the first one, and that was to not make time for personal development. So it sounds so simple, but actually it was not that easy for me, because I was all over the place. Like, I was doing student council, uni, friends, going out, studying, having a dog, having a wonderful partner, and I was trying to do everything at the same time, and I did not have time for myself, thinking about my goals, thinking about what am I gonna do, why am I doing it. If you don't make time, and I'm saying make time because you have to actively do it, personal development is not going to be that efficient for you. It takes a lot of time to dig deep, And when you ask yourself a question, as we said earlier, it's not enough to answer with the superficial and the most obvious answer. You need to go further and dig deeper and ask yourself, what else? And what else? Why am I afraid of exams? And what else is behind this fear? What is terrifying for me? Is it the fear of failure? The fear that I haven't studied enough? Is it the fear that it might be a problem for my ego? Is it a fear that I would be ashamed in front of my family if I would fail? What else? And keep going, asking yourself what else, because by asking yourself what else, this is where you're gonna find all the reasons behind it and all the thoughts that you have, the limiting beliefs that you have, and the mental blocks that you have. And by identifying them and just writing them out on paper, you are going to be able to overcome them. So this takes time, and it also takes calm and quietness. And this is my mistake number 4. My 4th mistake that really held me back on my personal development journey was that I didn't give the space to myself. I didn't give the space to myself to really calm down, think, and be alone. It was really in quarantine that I got the time to be alone and to really sit down in a quiet and calm space to think about things, to think about where I was going in life and why I was doing the things that I was doing and what I actually was spending my time and my energy on. And you know, it's not only giving you the alone time, but also giving yourself the space to go through this journey. And that was the big point for me. I am a super impatient person. I want the results immediately, and I want to see change and results fast. And if something was not working, like right away, I would get really frustrated and give up. Giving myself the space to be patient and work through it calmly, ask myself questions without any expectations, without having any judgments, without expecting myself to be totally different on the next day when I wake up. This was the moment where things started happening for me. And the last mistake I did is that I thought I needed to go through this change alone. So I have a coach who is helping me through it, and she is amazing. And the power of conversation is just so huge. Like, a question can change your perception of everything. When you're speaking with someone about your beliefs, your fears, your doubts, you get a new perspective about what you're telling this person. And to have an open mind to receive this perspective can crush your beliefs. I would say that it's not like a coaching session is a magic trick, and when you do a coaching session, your entire world collapses and a beautiful other new world emerges. That's not what I'm saying, but to really have someone to share your thoughts with, who gives you feedback and who gives you another perspective, another way to view your fears, your doubts, your beliefs, and also your successes. That is something so powerful, and I can only recommend it to anyone who is going through a personal development journey. And I'm not only saying that you need a coach to not go through it alone, but also opening up to the people who are closest to you is something that can help a lot. I started opening up to my relatives and setting clear boundaries, talking about things that I would not have talked about before, telling them about my fears, showing vulnerability, having more meaningful conversations with them and actually listening to them, trying to understand their view of their problems and not only seeing mine. I just open up to people, to my environment, and this was really also a turning point from a personal development journey where I really started seeing results is when I didn't see it only as something that is just happening for me, but also extending it to my environment and to the people who are closest to me. I really hope that you found it helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.